Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a special treat today. Today we have two of my favorite players, LiquidTLO versus Slayer's Boxer. However, LiquidTLO opening up with a little bit of a misclick there, spawning as the red Terran player over here at the 8 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Boxer. Hopefully I will not call him man of one way. It was told to me that this is an actual Boxer replay. So Boxer spawning here as the blue Terran player at the 10 o'clock position. So Terran versus Terran here in the Delta Quadrant, and this is one of those maps where where I believe Terran players really have a very strong advantage, and Boxer now saying that he's one of TLO's fans, so I believe TLO also was the same as Boxer's fan as well. So that's pretty funny, as both sides now just getting that standard supply depot and doing a pretty much same opening so far. So pretty interesting matchup, interesting conversation. It's a pretty interesting conversation. I'm just smiling, trying to avoid reading any of the text and commenting on the game. So here in the Delta Quadrant, there are a lot of expansions, and there is also this close expansion here with destructible rocks. Unlike Jungle Basin, where there are no destructible rocks, in order to try to expand here, you need to destroy these rocks first. These rocks do naturally have a base of 3 armor, so Marines will have a very difficult time trying to take them down. Marauders and Reapers are your best bet. We'll see if these expansions even come into play in this particular game, as we now see a refinery being placed down and LiquidTLO opening up with the standard 13 racks. This gas is a little bit earlier than Boxer's, as Boxer is not getting a gas just quite yet. He may be going for another weird strategy. So Boxer, really known for unconventional strategies in StarCraft 1, playing a lot of mental games. We'll see if he goes for a fast expansion command center, which would be probably one of the strangest strategies I've seen, especially on Delta Quadrant. You really cannot get away with it nearly as much. No gas yet and only 1 barracks. So with 1 barracks upgrading to an orbital command, he should be able to get a lot of minerals very quickly. I would have suspected a 2nd barracks being thrown down by some time. We did see that this one SCV came all the way here, did not activate the Zelnaga Watchtower, and now scouting out. So the two SCVs will be able to see each other in just a moment, and TLO being very on top of things, deciding to move over here. So now 1 Marine. So Boxer now moving over with this Marine, going to intercept this SCV in time. So it looks like, oh, gonna do a good job with that, making sure that this SCV does not come up that ramp. And now it is gonna be a fast command center. So 1 command center already being, or will be built in just a second, as 2 Marines going to be putting a lot of pressure on in just a moment. However, TLO opening up with a factory already, so it looks as though it's going to be a 1-1-1 build. And if he does go for Hellions, those Hellions will be able to raid very easily onto this low ground expansion here. I'm surprised that Boxer did not try to build the expansion up here on the high ground and try to hide it, as we now have 1 SCV moving out. We do see a lot of, or 3 Marines with 1 SCV now moving out as well against 3 Marines here. There is no additional SCVs, so army wise this is going to be a very interesting fight indeed, as these Marines and SCVs now move out. What's going to be happening here? Marines now trying to pull back there, SCV taking a lot of that damage there. So TLO now walking up the ramp with those Marines and that SCV. 1 Marine deciding to pull all the way back. SCV is now coming off the mineral line as well. So Boxer now in a little bit exposed here. I do not know if TLO does not know about that expansion attempt yet. So now 3 Marines trying to come in, trying to deal a lot of damage. 1 Marine deciding to pull back here. We do see some SCVs now coming out as well. Those SCVs will get aggroed, as that 1 Marine trying to fight back even further. SCVs will be able to get some damage, and now the Marines quickly see that this expansion is now nearly completed. Wants to try to focus down that SCV. SCV, however, is going to be able to complete that one, and now the Marines of TLO are going to get taken down. Army-wise, we have 200 for Boxer versus 50 of TLO. Sorry, 150 of TLO. So probably a Hellion just popped out. And now that there's a Hellion, there are going to be 2 more Hellish friends coming out in just a moment with a reactor swap. So TLO will be able to get off a lot of very aggressive play, now building a 2nd factory. So with that 2nd factory, also has that 2nd refinery up and going for an armory. It looks as though he wants to start training up Hells and Thors. Hells and Thors, a very decent combination together. You see that TLO deciding not to even try to build a tech lab there, just building it the old-fashioned way with that factory. It looks as though this army will complete just in time as this tech lab, so we should be seeing a Thor in just a moment. We do see 3 Hellions now moving out, a group of Marines and 1 bunker there, so that those Hellions trying to get some damage from that bunker, unable to. 1 of those Marines needs to get into that position and try to make sure that he gets some additional range there. That Marine very low on hit points, down to 3, however going to be able to run by. Are we going to get any additional Marines? This bunker is very well placed here. This bunker making it so that those Marines are able to block, and then that Hellion being forced to pull back, so both sides taking some damage. However, TLO now going to repair that lost damage with SCVs instead, as more Hellions now being trained and now going for a Thor. The longer this game goes, the better it will be for Boxer. Boxer does have double mules currently mining, so you will see a harvester difference, 1,400 versus 960. However, his army size is a little bit smaller at this stage, only has one Marauder, and he will need a lot of Marauders to try to deal with anything else. We do see those Hellions did not like that one critter on the screen, and a lot of Hellions not going to be able to just simply run straight into the base of Boxer. Boxer losing 3 of those units there, and now some more and more of those Marines trying to fight back here. Marauders coming in to join on this fight. However, Hellions will be able to torch even more SCVs, as more Marauders just standing around doing nothing, not giving chase, and those Hellions just being microed very, very well. Now, one Marauder will be able to deal a lot of damage. 2 Marauders being left to deal with this whole entire Hellion harassment, and these Marauders perhaps going to jump inside that bunker in order to fight back. We should already have a Thor, and yes, the Thor has arrived, and the Thor with this SCV Hellion push will be able to deal a lot of damage once again. In comes some more Hellions. Marauders trying to push back against those Hellions over there, but that Thor simply will be able to run into here. Boxer thinking that there was going to be some Banshee play. However, no Banshees whatsoever, as now an SCV trying to start doing some repair here. Marine now fighting back. However, Hellions getting a good line of splash damage there, and one Thor just continuing to push all that damage. Very nicely done. TLO was trying to abuse the range of 7 on this one Thor. However, will he be able to, as these SCVs now make their ways over? Very nicely done. TLO trying to pull back once again with those Hellions, and I thought TLO had this. However, with that Thor gone, the second Thor needs to come into play, and yes, a second Thor has arrived. So the Thor does have a range of 7, will be able to outrange this bunker. A Marauder needs to get into that one bunker in order to get a range of 7 as well. However, the Thor able to shoot down that one Marauder there. Orbital Command being forced to pull back, and now I do not think there's anything that Boxer can really do. I do not see any siege tanks, not enough Marauders are being trained, only one tech lab, and that's going to be an issue as these Hellions now make their way to try to deal damage towards that tech lab there. We do see one Marauder continuing to fight, one SCV trying to repair this Thor, and continuing to fight back. SCV is now coming off the mineral line. However, it's not going to be enough, and TLO is going to take this game here on the Delta Quadrant, as SC2replays.net being forspoken by the website itself. But yeah, very, very nicely done. Good game, and good game coming in from both sides. So yeah, very nicely played. Boxer being very aggressive here on the Delta Quadrant, opening up with, I believe, an 18 command center over here on the low ground, not even getting for an early refinery. This does give the Terran player a very, very strong economic advantage if he's able to exploit it. However, TLO was able to capitalize on his tech advantage, getting a reactor onto his factory, double training Hellions, and after double training Hellions, just keeping up that pressure, building up a second factory instead of a starport, and then also getting an armory. That armory getting the level 1, already had the level 1 weapons upgrade. So once we had Thors and Hellions, that was just starting to be too much, as TLO was able to equalize the economic advantage by taking down some of these SCVs here. Also, TLO realizing that Marines in a bunker only have a range of 6 instead of a range of 7. Thors naturally have a range of 7. That Thor was able to just blow away that bunker without taking any damage. And I think if Boxer had realized that, he would have stimmed his one Marauder and then dumped it into that bunker. The bunker would have then been able to fire much more quickly back at the Thor and perhaps gotten some extra damage. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between LiquidTLO and Boxer here on the Delta Quadrant, or in the Delta Quadrant.